עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו חי. עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל 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 חי. עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו חי. עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו חי.
Am Yisrael Chai, the Jewish people lives. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome
Shalom.
here to Temple Bat Yahm, where we join together in person in the Sonnenschein Family Sanctuary. And we welcome all of those who are joining us remotely on live stream. It's wonderful to gather together. Though there are storms and clouds outside, in here we can feel the unity of the Jewish people, the vibrancy of our faith, and the restfulness that comes with observing Shabbat. As we join together, we will sing old and new melodies, prayers that hearken back to the centuries our people have rejoiced and the centuries in which our people have faced hardships. The end of all of that, again, Am Yisrael Chai. In that spirit, let's open our prayer books to the page 120, as we recite the blessing over the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. The foot of page 121, Martin Buber, the great Jewish philosopher, wrote, "Help me perfect my ways of loving and caring." Let's join together. Inspire me to make myself whole, so that I may honor your name and create a world of justice and peace. On page 138, in the north of Israel, the tiny mystical city of Sfat is perched on a mountaintop, ancient gathering of Jews who've lived there for centuries, produced the words of Lechadudi, the mystical hymn, poem, welcoming Shabbat as our beloved. Page 138, singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Lecha dodi שמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם לסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, התעוררי, כי בא אורך קומי אורי. אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
And let's remain standing as we turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu, the call to prayer. Please be seated. On page 148, let's read in translation the Ma'ariv Aravim prayer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time, and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari v'aravi.
Amen. And on page 150, let's join in the English again. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Amen. Let's rise for the Shema. Page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Please be seated. Page 159, a reading to introduce Mi Chamocha, which is on page 158. The reading on page 159, especially poignant. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, a soldier's home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Ba'irim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osef ele, nora tehilot, osef ele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Page 160.
השכיבנו, אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו, שומרנו, לחיים, לחיים. Let there be love, guard us with peace, strength and compassion for all in need. Shield us from hate, illness and war. Watch over us as we go forth. Hashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu, shomreinu, lechaim, lechaim. Fill us with hope, grace and truth. May we all return to you. Keep us safe, safe tonight. May we rise in the new light. Hashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu, shomreinu, lechaim, 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 lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai, הפורש סוכות שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ושמרו. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש ושמרו.
On page 167, let's read this together. Some perished by fire, some by water. Some crossed the sea or watered the desert. Some starved all week to make a Shabbat feast. Some were left childless until old age. Some lifted their chins beneath a father's knife. Those who came before us gave everything, so that we, generations later, could glorify you. And despite the dangers, with your protection, some did survive and even flourished. Some reaped in joy, were spared the knife, were granted children. We are their inheritors, O God, and we know how rare is our good fortune to be born to such hard-won treasures. A great responsibility is ours, and yours as well. For if you do not sustain us, as you did Abraham and Sarah, Rebekah and Isaac, Jacob and Rachel and Leah, then who will sing your praises? Who will lift their chins as we do now? Page 164, we rise for the tefillah.
Adonai, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה, אדוני, אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה, אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם, אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו בלי שני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה, אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה, אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. On page 173, let's continue in the top of the page in the English together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise.
ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen. Page 175. רצה אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל, ותפילתם באהבה תקבל. ותהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך, ברוך אתה אדוני, שאותך לבדך ביראה נעבוד.
Amen.
And on page 177, the second reading, let's join together. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth.
ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך ולך נאה להודות.
Amen. Page 178, a prayer for peace.
שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
Amen. Let's take some moments for silent prayer and reflection. Let's turn now in our prayers to prayers for healing, page 382, thinking of those who are undergoing treatments and surgeries, awaiting diagnoses, struggling not only with physical illness, but with mental illness, with addiction, infertility. We also think of those recovering after the terrible attack on October 7 and ever since then in Israel. Page 382.
רפאנו אדוני ונרפא, הושיענו וניוושע, אל קרוב לכל קרוב, אך קרוב לרעיו ישוע. הושיע את עמך וברך את נחלתך, ורעם ונשאם עד העולם. מי שברך אבותינו, מי שברך אמותינו, ענה אדוני הושיענה.
And on page 376, the foot of the page, let's join together in this prayer for our nation and then a prayer for the state of Israel. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. Avinu Shebashamayim Tzur Yisrael v'goalo, barech et medinat Yisrael reshit tzmichat geulatenu. Hagen aleha be'evrat hasdecha ufros aleha usukat shlomecha. ושלח אורך ועמיתך ראשיה, שריה ויועציה. ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך, ונתת שלום בארץ ושמחת עולם ליושביה, ונאמר אמן. Together in English, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, Bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace, and send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. And now, since it is the first Friday in the month of November, those with birthdays and anniversaries this month, feel free to stand up and come towards the front of the sanctuary. Don't be shy. Birthdays and anniversaries. And if you missed out in October and weren't here for the first Friday in October, you can come as well. Nice. See, it just takes one or two people to start, and then God of days and years, author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our days. We gather today in person and also online as we share in the happiness of members of our holy congregation celebrating birthdays and anniversaries in this season. May they be blessed with health and happiness. May they be blessed with the ability to appreciate every day of every year. May they continue to grow in strength, in wisdom, and in love. And may we all have the joy of celebrating together for many years to come. And we say, Amen. And let's join together in thanking God for reaching this joyful moment.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashanim. Blessed are you, O God, who brings holiness to our years. And we say, Amen. And so our birthday and anniversary people may kiss, as demonstrated by Steve and Jill. Mazel tov. Didn't see a smashing of a glass, though. But we do have cups of wine and grape juice, and I invite the whole congregation to rise and approach one of the wine or grape juice stations at the front here. And folks online, now's the time to get your Kiddush cup. Thank you, Cantor.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשה באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
Please be seated. One of the most well-known passages, perhaps in all of English literature, is this one. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, but it actually goes on. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. Tale of Two Cities, Charles Dickens, may well have been writing about this week's Torah portion. You see, the Torah portion opens with Abraham sitting the opening of his tent, his home tent with Sarah. In the heat of the day, according to tradition, he's recovering from just a little surgical procedure which he had done to himself as part of the covenant, or bris, if you're Ashkenazi, just a few days before. Recovering there at the opening of the tent, and visitors are approaching. In compliance with Hachnasat Orchim, welcoming the stranger, out he goes to greet them, fetches them some food and water, and lo and behold, they have a message for him. Because these aren't just three regular travelers. According to tradition, these folks are angels. And before cell phones, they actually had to come to someone's tent to deliver the divine message. In this case, it was a divine message that made Sarah laugh. Ripe in age, she was childless. Yet these messengers said Abraham and Sarah were going to have a child. It's hard to imagine the joy of that laughter. Laughter that was conveyed in the name that that child was given, Yitzchak, Isaac. That sounds like the best of times. Then it was a rough time after that, when God said to Abraham, "Take your son, the one you love, and sacrifice him on Mount Moriah, on Mount Moriah," the location, incidentally, of the temple in Jerusalem centuries later. And as a sign of faith, or perhaps foolishness, to quote Dickens, Abraham takes Isaac up to Mount Moriah with a sharp knife, straps him down, ready to sacrifice him. But again, without cell phones, an angel appears and says, "We don't do that stuff. We don't sacrifice our children. We don't do that." Unlike the ancient peoples who surrounded the Israelites in their ancient land, there was a valley just to the south of the old city in Jerusalem. You can still visit it. Gehinnom, sometimes rendered in English as Gehenna. A valley where those who worship the god Molech would take their children and sacrifice them. The binding of Isaac, this horrific trial, reminds us through the ages, we don't do that. We just don't do that. So while at the beginning of the Torah portion, Sarah laughs at the thought that she and Abraham in their old age would have a new child, at the opening of next week's Torah portion, we hear that Sarah has died. And according to tradition, she dies from the shock of hearing that Abraham had nearly sacrificed their beloved Yitzchak, their beloved Isaac. And so I think Charles Dickens may have had this Torah portion in mind when he penned those words. The best of times, the worst of times. And I think those words really leap out at us, not just this week in view of the Torah portion, but this week in view of what we are seeing all around us. Here in the United States, in a former Soviet republic, where an airport was overrun by hordes of people seeking to do a pogrom on any Jews they could find getting off a plane from Tel Aviv. An age of wisdom and an age of foolishness, as we see people who are so good-hearted and wouldn't hurt a fly chanting for the Jews to be pushed into the sea because they don't get what they're saying. Foolishness. Supporting people who, if given half the chance, would not respect their choice of pronoun. And that's the least of it. Foolishness. Belief and incredulity. A time where we can live stream a war, but we still don't know what we're seeing with our own eyes. Because the enemy doesn't wear a uniform. The enemy wears regular clothes and drives regular cars and is located in civilian areas. And that's not to mention all the possibilities for Hollywood effects and staged images and images pulled from other wars and other times. Belief, incredulity. Season of light and of darkness. Well, the darkness, that's pretty easy to feel and see right now. As we think about campuses overrun with foolishness and evil. Darkness as we see the real threat posed to the state of Israel, certainly if all the various fronts open up. But also a season of light as we think about the fact that this time around, because we've been here before, this time around, we have folks in our corner. We have a powerful self-defense force in the state of Israel. And we have powerful friends here in the United States and in other sane nations. Not only are we reading Vayera this week with all its best times and worst times for Sarah and Abraham and Isaac, but in the week to come, we also remember a great misfortune that befell our people in 1938. Time known as Kristallnacht, often regarded as the first event of what would become the Shoah. Certainly a dark and terrible time in our people's history. Yet, following the Shoah, around this time of year in 1947, an agreement was reached. The United Nations voted that the ancient land of Israel, the Holy Land, would have an Arab state and a Jewish state. There was dancing in the street. I recently Sat down with someone who turned 95 a few weeks ago, and I asked him, do you remember the 73 war? Do you remember the 67 war? He said, you know what I remember the most? 1948. When Ben-Gurion established, on behalf of the Jewish people, the state of Israel, a time of great light, yet that establishment was also the beginning of a war that has never ended. The War of Independence. In the prayer we recited for the state of Israel, we said, Israel is Reshit Tzmichat Geulatenu, the flowering, the beginning of the flowering of redemption, hope for peace in the whole world. You see, Israel is not just meant to be a country where our people can live am chofshi be'artzeinu, free, safe in our own land, but it's meant to be an or l'goyim, a light unto the nations, a place from which the values of Torah, of justice and peace radiate out. And in so many ways, Israel has lived up to that mission. Yet the War of Independence has resurfaced anew. A winter of despair has fallen upon many of us. A winter of despair in which we wonder about the safety of our kids on campus. We wonder about that little box on our doorpost with the shin on it and the little parchment inside, the mezuzah. Some resolutely and defiantly refusing to obscure it. Others going on Amazon and buying. There's a thing you can buy that looks like an alarm sensor. Can go over it. Yet others wondering about taking them down. No judgment. But that's the winter of despair that we thought was long behind us. So it's both of these things. It's the best and the worst. It's the light and the dark. It's the wisdom and the foolishness. And the spring of hope and the winter of despair. These polarities are not new to our people. Naomi Shemer, great poet of our people and singer, wrote a song in the early 80s that captured beautifully this polarity. It's become a kind of informal second anthem for the state of Israel. And I want to invite you to turn to page 651 to see some of the words. Al hadvash v'al ha'oketz. על המר והמתוק. On the honey and the sting. On the bitter and on the sweet. על ביתנו התינוקת, the little baby, שמו אלי הטוב. Guard us for the good. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May it be God's will. We're now going to sing that song.
על הדבש ועל העוקץ, על המר והמתוק, על ביתנו התינוקת, שמו אלי הטוב. על האש המבוערת, על המים הזכים, על האיש השב הביתה מן המרחקים, על כל אלה, על כל אלה, שמונה לי אלי הטוב. על הדבש ועל העוקץ, על המר והמתוק, על נטוע קור נטוע, אל תשכח את התקווה. השיבני והשובה אל הארץ הטובה. על נטע קור נטוע, אל תשכח את התקווה. השיבני והשובה אל הארץ הטובה.
And now prayer for a more hopeful future, page 586, the Elena. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Let's remain standing as we turn to page 598 for Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. This Shabbat, we're in the Shloshim mourning period for Dorothy Salkin. This Shabbat marks the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the deaths of Francis Adelman, Joseph Baird, Frida Baum, Thelma Bernstein, Rose Israel, Arthur Feldman, Donald Goldstein, Robert Leonard Greenhall, Rose Harris, Jacob Ryan Ignaton, Sylvia Jacobi, Michelle Kagan, Svea Holz-Schlissan, Vita O. Klein, Alfreda Kleinman, Jules Latcher, Myron Lubash, Robert Munger, Natalie B. Pennon, John Phillips, Edith Plout, Eugene Pontac, Mary Lou Post, Edith J. Rindler, Joyce Rosen, Partap Suri, Abraham Suss, Darrell James Verley, Phineas L. Wigler, and Marilyn Woodward. We also remember those who've died due to baseless hatred here in America, around the world, and especially those in Israel, the 1,400 who were slaughtered on October 7th, this Shabbat marking the end of the Shloshim period for those who died that day. We still have the 140 yahrzeit candles in their honor. And of course, all those who've died since, especially those who are dying in the line of duty, preserving the state of Israel, and frankly, the whole world. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing together on page 598. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shmei Rabbah, Be'alma, Divrach, Yirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayachon, V'yomechon, V'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agala, V'izman Kariv, V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach, Le'olam, Olamei Almaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei D'kudsha B'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort all those who are bereaved, and we say, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated, all except our fabulous president, Adrian Cohen, with some words of welcome and some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome.
Shabbat Shalom.
And we are so grateful we have the best of the best up here to guide us. Rabbi and Cantor, thank you for a beautiful service. Paul Zuhl, always for the music. To our ushers, Steve Fink and Greg Shavitz, you are steadfast and we appreciate you. And of course, in back, Matthew and Aaron, who keep us running. So appreciate all of you. Our oneg tonight will be in the Schuster Family Courtyard. This weekend, Torah study is in person at the Marcus Library and led by Rabbi Zilberman at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And the focus, again, will be on the war in Israel, and you will get coffee and bagels. There are a lot of opportunities here that are on the website. I know that I and my family have found great comfort in the programs led by Rabbi, and including JCal, which will be Sunday, and Coffee Talk, 9 a.m. also in the Marcus Library. There's a lot to learn, and it is so comforting to see all of you here tonight and to be with you also on the weekends. other programs. If you have not had your B'nai Mitzvah, it is not too late. Our interest is actually growing really fast, and Ellen Phillips, who I don't know where you're sitting, but you're here somewhere, there we are. Ellen Phillips is the person to ask if you are interested, and we'll have information for you. Quick fun fact, I was not bat mitzvahed until I was 17 when I was in Israel and was on top of Masada. One of my fellow B'nai Mitzvah people, there were about 6 of us, I think, posted the picture of us in support of Israel after the war just the last couple weeks. And somehow we all contacted each other, and we are meeting tomorrow all the way up in Thousand Oaks, but we're doing it to get together in solidarity. And I haven't seen some of these women since high school, so very excited. So I am trying to find silver linings, and one of them is being with all of you also. Thank you. I'm sure you understand and appreciate how important our legacy here is at TBY, even more so than ever. More so than any of us actually ever imagined it might be, frankly. But the world has shown us that we need to create a safe place here for our children and to educate and be here. So please join me and the other legacy members. There's a forum. You can ask me. Steve Fink is here. And Debbie Margolis is our Legacy and Life Chair to learn more. So think about that. Doesn't matter, it can be $5, but anything will support our Life and Legacy project here. So thank you so much, and Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian. Just a reminder, Torah study will be based on the Torah portion, but I'm sure we will talk about Israel. It seems to be unavoidable right now and appropriate and linking into the Torah portion in so many ways, including in the ways described in your handout and in the email. Sunday morning coffee talk is more of a freewheeling discussion about what's going on in Israel. Everyone's welcome, 9 till about 10:15. And of course, every Friday night is a chance to be together in solidarity and to pray for Israel and stand together proudly and with hope in the future for us all and for our whole world. And in the spirit of hope, we're going to close our service as we have been. This is now the 4th Shabbat with the singing of Hatikva, page 678. Please rise.
Ayin letzion, so
us for a kiddush just out there, an oneg, and let's thank God for bringing forth bread from the earth, saying,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avon.
B'tei avon, good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom.